So I'm going to try to show you the latest creation of JFrog, so the new startup that I created, and we started in July with Yoav Landman. And so we launched Artifactory 2.0 in December of last year. This is the version 2.1 snapshot that still didn't release, and the current release is 2.02, like you can see here. And so I'm going to show you a bunch of new features that we put inside this new version. It's an open source project, and it's basically a Maven repository management. What is a Maven repository management? It's solve the problem of Dick, which is downloading the internet every time it's building with Maven. So to have your internal repository and to be able to manage and clean up your artifact and manage your dependencies. So the first page here as an anonymous reader that I cannot log in. Artifactory here is happily serving 316 artifacts. For your information, I just built the war against artifacts and it downloaded 316 jars, which is related to the talk that we had before. And so from here I can start to log, and so I can start to look for all kinds of artifacts that are going on. And here, of course, I need to go back. My session was done after all this time. So I'm looking for Maven, and I get here a list of Maven artifacts, and I can group back by artifacts and a bunch of artifacts that contain Maven, and I can group back by path, and here I have all the different paths. I can also look by class and try to find into all my artifacts that are downloaded on my Artifactory all the class that contain some kind of logger. So I have all kind of build logger, and of course in this environment, so it's artifact. It's by the way, it's Safari 4. We never tested it with Safari 4, so there is a bunch of UI issue, but it still look good. You can change, of course, the group by, and see here in Commons login, of course, you have a lot of loggers. You go to 1.4, and here you can go directly to the showing tree and get a lot more information about the actual artifact. And here in the tree where it comes from. You go to the POM itself. Here you select the POM, and you can go to the POM view. You have the dependency that you can copy paste and access and put inside the POM file and see actually the POM file that is going on and what's actually happening. You can do also, this is the latest version that the guy just committed at 2 AM Israeli time, so which is quite some time ago, which is a search by group ID, artifact ID or version. So here what I'm going to do is that I did some deployment with our test, with our stress test. So it deploys some org.artifactory system, and so I'm looking for every artifact that has a group ID that starts with org.artifactory, and I can see here a big bunch of them. I can group them by group ID, and then here all of them. So I go org.artifactory.id here, and you can see that it's already reduced immediately. I can go here. Here there is normally a war that is here. I can go show in tree. What's important here is that I deployed this one, and so I can go to the metadata, and I have a bunch of metadata names that I can add to any artifact inside the Artifactory management. So all kind of metadata of your own and metadata of the system. And you can add here, this is the build number, so I built it actually twice. And you can see that here, the POM file. You can have also all kind of information about statistics normally here, and that nobody wanted my war. So I'm going to log in to get a little bit more information. So the password is password for your information. It's the default installation. And so once I get password, I get a lot more information, and so I can start to deploy inside Artifactory. And so I can deploy, for example, here. So I have a bunch of stuff. I should have ant somewhere. Yeah. So ant 1.5. And so I want to deploy ant 1.5. It analyzes, it finds out all the group ID, artifact ID, and everything, all the information that is inside the jar. I choose where I want to deploy. So external release local, because it's the ant thing. I can actually modify the POM if I find and remove all kind of repository and all kind of dirty things that is going on, and I can deploy this artifact inside Artifactory.
Would it look at like jar headers?
Oh,